This is a brewery up in Oakland, Ghost Town. It's
I've
a
heard of
West
Ghost Town.
Coast IPA, super solid.
I love it.
You live down Santa Cruz, right?
I do.
You got a lot of good beer down Santa Cruz. Tons of good beer.
Oh my gosh. I spend a lot of time at Sante Darius. You know Sante?
Yeah, you go to the Portal or the brewery?
Been to both. I live in Capitola, so the portal's walkable. I mean, the brewery's walkable, portals. My friend Jay Thompson.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've met Jay before. Great dude.
Me and Jay know each other.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, special shout out to Jay Bird.
Yeah, definitely.
He's such a good dude.
Yeah.
And fast. He's a fast runner.
He is very fast. He's very fast, and I was very happy to see him get back into it.
Me too. And shout out to his dog Wrigley, who passed away a few weeks ago. What a legend of a dog.
And that was a true Sante dog right there. I mean, it was
from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, and Sante is already super dog friendly, but he was. To me, he was the Sante mascot for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was even drawn on the brewery, right? Remember that wall that was on the other side of the brewery? I think Riggs was in that thing.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, for sure. I'll be right back. If Jay's gonna see this, I'll be right back.
I love it. Talking. We are gonna talk. We're gonna talk. Shout out to Sante. Great local.
Absolutely.
Bernie's. Let's do it. Run Local Podcast. We are back. Of course, this is the podcast where we invite guests across the spectrum of society, including elite athletes, entrepreneurs, local legends, and beyond. Definitely have one of those with us today. At Run Local, we utilize the sport of running to learn more about these individuals and local community, what they're doing to change the world. Because you know what? We believe in the power of movement and doing the doable at a local level. So, unlike other podcasts, sometimes we have different hosts. Sometimes Josh Muxon, the voice of Run Local, is on here. Sometimes Jimmy Coleman is doing the side hustle where he talks to event people. Today, you only have me. You only have JT Service, the founder of Run Local, coming off a day of 15 different conference calls. Man, am I amped to finally be talking to this guy. Today on the Run Local podcast, we have Jake McCluskey. That's with a U. McCluskey. Jake, welcome to the Run Local podcast.
Thank you, JT. Thanks for having me, man. Been looking forward to the talk.
Heck yeah. So I know you, but I don't know if all the people know you. You're pretty famous on the local level. You need to describe yourself. This is one of our favorite parts.
I'm a Massachusetts native, lived in California now 20 years. Just loving life, man. I'm just committed to the power of movement, just like you guys are.
Ooh, I love it. That's perfect. You're living in San Jose, California right now?
Yes.
Been in San Jose the last 20 years or all over the area?
Last 20 years, same apartment, everything.
Man, whoa. What are you, the super?
No, just
running the place.
I get a good deal.
Rent control. That thing's stuck right there.
Something like that.
That's great. So I've heard about the legend of Jake McCluskey a few years ago. He might have been slightly overweight at one point. I don't know.
Little bit.
A Trumpy morbidly obese, as some of the people are calling it right now.
Yeah.
Extreme, severe from the CDC. Can you tell us about that story? Because I think that's where it really digs into why we found out about your story at Run Local and how we became friends.
Yeah, well, I'm 46 years old now, but at 40, I weighed in at 380, maybe even more. That's what I was able to confirm my weight at.
Wow.
And when you weigh 380 pounds, life is difficult. Like even just getting up and walking across the room can be extremely taxing. So it was just one of those things. Something went off in my head when I turned 40 and I had been a long-term smoker, kicked the cigarettes, and just like I knew my days were numbered basically if I didn't do something to change it.
Yeah, that's amazing. So how much weight did you lose? And it's not always about weight loss. I mean, it's about feeling better and being able to function and all of these different
For
things
sure.
and living maybe longer and all those pieces. Like how much did you lose? Not to make it a weight.
So yeah, no, I understand totally. Like I said, I was 380. I got down to about 200 when I was just running just crazy miles every day. And quite honestly, at 200 was just it felt a little bit light for what I'm used to.
Yeah.
I just didn't feel like I was like just 100%. So now it's like I'm right around 220 right now, and I've just been focused on doing a lot more like weightlifting.
That's incredible. So you lose 180 pounds over
Yeah.
how long of a period? How long does that happen?
Well, I mean, the good thing is when you weigh that much, like the weight comes off relatively quickly, at least the first part. I had tried to lose weight a million times, and then just it clicked in my head, and I didn't tell anybody that I was like trying to lose weight. I was running at night because I was embarrassed to be seen, and
That's
then
amazing.
nobody really noticed until I got down to probably like 320, and then people are just like, "Hey, are you okay? What's going on here?" And then just when it started coming off more, like I really had to assure people that cared about me, like, no, I'm doing this. This is a positive thing.
Yeah, it's so wild because something clicked, right? It was like, no more, like no
Yeah.
more of this. And I
Yeah.
often hear that. And I don't know if it's like some Tony Robbins bullshit or like, no more of this today, but like,
Well, because it's just like I can't speak for you. I can speak for me. I had to make that decision. And it was just like, if I really made that decision, then there's really no alternative.
wow.
And I mean, it's like, I'm not minimizing it for people out there. Like, I mean, it's hard to do, but it's just, even like I said, I smoked cigarettes forever, and quitting cigarettes was going to be as easy or as hard as I made it, right? So it was just like some days are going to be easier than others. The same with the exercise.
Right. That's interesting. So can you tell, I mean, let's talk about it of how, because I do want to get into like, that is so amazing. This is not a normal circumstance. Did it start with walking and eating and like everything at once? Like, was there a transition period?
Well, it definitely, when I first started going out there, that first night I went out there, I remember it as April 12th, 2014. I just literally started those just like a run walk program because there was no way that I could possibly run for any length, right? So I literally started walking and then like running for like 10 seconds. And it was just like,
but it's a start. It's like
it was a start, and it was like, quite honestly, looking back, it had to happen that way.
Yeah.
Just because it was like, I had to drop some weight. I had to get my tendons strong. Like just, how the running
60, you got to go step by step and start working into it.
Yeah. So it's like, even if I had the lungs to go out and like run at that time, it would not have been a smart idea. So just like that run walk program that I did was just worked perfectly for me.
Yeah. And did you find it? Did you create it yourself? What were you doing?
So that one, I think I just, there's a bunch of them online, the kind of cookie cutter plans.
Yeah.
I just found one and I just stuck with it.
That's amazing. And then can we talk a little bit about the food intake and some of the things that like went along with it? Are you changing your diet simultaneously? Or did you do one part and phase it in?
Well, the way the diet kind of went with me was I love beer. So it's like that's beer's been a big part of my life. I work around it, brewed it. Okay. So even during all that process where I was like losing all that weight, I was still drinking beer.
Right.
I was
You
definitely
weren't going to
changing.
cut out everything. You're like, I
I was
gotta
gonna
have
cut out,
something.
I wasn't gonna cut out everything because it had to be sustainable for me,
Right.
right? If I had uh, just cut out drinking and just lost all the weight, as soon as I went back to normal, it would go back to normal, right? So
Right.
I definitely did. I mean, I cut, I went from basically eating whatever I wanted
Yeah.
to, I was starting to watch what I eat a little bit more, but
Being
even,
intentional, it sounds like, about what you were
yeah,
eating, when you were eating, and what you were consuming.
yes, but it was never one of these things where I was like militant about writing stuff down.
Yeah.
When I lost all that weight, my whole thing was 6 out of the 7 days of the week, I want to go to bed knowing I burned more than I took in.
Mm.
That's pretty much it.
Kind of makes sense. I mean, not to say it's just like logical or like
Right? I mean,
science. I don't
it's
know.
I'm not a nutritionist, so I can't speak on it, but I
Me
mean,
neither.
that's the principle of all these diets are, you need to
But
burn more than you take in.
that makes sense to me. Okay. You do this thing. It takes a couple of years, a year and a half, 2014 to, what was the
So
time?
actually, 2014, so I started April 12th, and my first race was the San Jose Giants 5 miler.
Woo!
And yes, that was my first race. And that was in June. I forget what the date was. But
I can't remember that year, but I'm sure I was at the start line. I will tell you that.
yeah, yeah, it was an amazing race. But I've told my friends this before. Uh, I worked myself up through that run walk program, and my plan was just like not even to worry about my time at that Giants race. It was just about the
Yep.
finish. Well, I kind of almost self-sabotaged myself the night before because I went out with a bunch of friends, we partied, and
Had a few, got a little lit.
I had a lot. And I woke up, and this was before Uber. I took a cab over there, and I was like hanging out the back of the cab, like getting sick, and just
Oh,
like playing this mind game in my head, like, do I just go home? Do I just do this?
I
And it's
just love
like,
that you still showed up.
yeah,
That's
well, yeah,
oh,
I'm
that's
so
great.
happy that I ran that race that day because I know for a fact that if I had went home in the cab that day, I would have just gone back to just like normal.
That's great.
I
It was
would have
almost
probably
like
stopped
a,
running.
yeah, it's like you stuck to it even through that. You're like, you know what, I'm holding myself accountable.
Yeah, and then once I got through that race, like I knew it was on.
Right.
I knew it was on.
And people don't know this, but we, Soul Focus Sports, our production company, co-founded that race with the San Francisco Giants here in San Jose. So you had the opportunity to run the 5K that day too, which there's a very
Yes,
defined spot where you could be like, you know what, I'm just doing the 5K. I'm going back in. I'm going to home plate right now. I don't need this.
right.
It sounds like you went all the way through. You're like, fuck
Oh,
it.
I
I'm doing the
definitely, I
5 mile.
definitely did. I did do the 5 miler because I mean that's what I was like. That's
Badass,
what I
man.
trained for. That's what I had my eyes set on. And believe me, there was
I
some
know how
temptation.
easy it is to make that turn. You could be just like, I'm all right. I'm all right. I've made that turn before. But that's the
Yeah,
kind of the cool part about running, to bring it back a step, is that like I know how hard those choices are. Like whether it's a half marathon split to a full
yeah,
marathon split or a 5K to a 5 mile, like I still feel like we can all somewhat get in each other's heads about making that tougher decision or to go the extra mile or to do that extra thing.
right,
And it's such a cool part about the sport because I don't think I know what it feels like to be Steph Curry and to shoot that shot. Like I can't, my arms don't work
right,
that way. I don't elevate like that, but I can kind of understand how it feels to be a top distance runner and know how much it hurts.
right.
Like
Yeah,
I've run somewhat fast, but I haven't run, like 3:40 in the mile, but I know what it stings. I know what it stings to feel like to hurt like that in an interval or something like that. And it's such a cool like equalizer in the sport.
absolutely. And I
Like,
mean, you know, it could be you visualizing that 340 mile. It could be a 12 min mile for somebody,
yeah,
right? It's
yeah,
just like this sport allows like you feeling those highs and lows are the same
Yeah.
with every competition level.
Yeah. Connection. I know.
Yeah.
Meb would say he would have Meb Keflezgy, silver medalist, and, a partner of ours for the Silicon Valley Half. He meets people at the expos and they go like, "Oh, I don't know how you do what you do," and he goes, "I don't know how you run a 5-hour marathon. Like that would be miserable. Like out
He-
there for 5 hours."
He's done in 2 hours and 5 minutes. He's back already.
It's like I couldn't run 5 hours. I would die.
Yeah.
Chief out there. So that's interesting, just the connection between everyone. So I don't know. That's our first step. Can we go into the story of how did you come up with the idea of running every single street in San Jose? And how did you
Well,
get there?
that was, I had, by the time I did the Run to San Jose thing, I had already done a 50, couple hundred milers. And when I was my heaviest,
Yeah.
I literally worked right next door to my house. So I would go 6, 7 months without ever leaving my block. And my friends would call it the bubble, right? Because there's literally a bubble over my house to my work. And just the Run to San Jose thing to me was just like in my head, it was just to celebrate just my newfound just mobility.
Yeah.
And it was
cool.
just like I love the city so much, and it was just there's no better way to see it than
I agree.
yeah.
Than to see all of it, than to run it all. Yeah.
Yes. So it's like that's even if you ride on a bicycle, like you're gonna miss a lot. But just jogging along, like you're seeing the people, talking to people, you're seeing every little thing.
So cool. I think you learn a lot, right? About a city too, in like different pockets. And
Oh, definitely. I mean,
culture.
especially San Jose, as big as you think it is, it's bigger than that, right? I mean, there are so many little pockets and just so much different character to different neighborhoods. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah, and I'm almost thinking in my head right now. So I grew up in Willow Glen in the 1980s, and then went to high school in San Jose, in West San Jose. So now when I'm like thinking in my head, I'm like, oh shit, yep, he ran that street. Oh no, yeah, I played Little League here. Yep, he ran that street. I was out in Almaden for this party. Oh my God, Jake was out in Quicksilver, like in those little neighborhoods that have all the McMansions at the base of the hills and stuff like that. He's ran that street.
Yeah.
How did you keep track of it all?
So basically what I did, and believe me, I have GPS data to back everything up because I've had people say, you didn't run by my street. I said, what's your cross streets? And I could show them exactly when I ran by there.
I brought receipts.
Yeah, I would use it just like I would track each individual run with either Nike or Strava. And then I would just load that into a Google file that just had the map. So for me, that was like a big part of every day was just seeing the map fill up and fill up and fill up. And that was like my reward every day was going home and getting a log in those miles.
Oh. Now you can imagine like the meaning that has for me. I started a company a few years ago called Run Local. And to talk about supporting your local neighborhoods, running local. No one's ran local more than you in terms of learning these things, but it's because I really like believe in it. So I just wrote an article like a few days ago to like get it out of my head about why I think it's like so powerful. And I would like you to talk like a little bit more about like what you think San Jose is and means from that experience. Like what, I don't know if you learned anything or something more about the city.
Well, I learned a ton about the city, just in terms of just geography. But I mean, I'll say this, doesn't matter what neighborhood you're in, people are people, right? And I always went out there with I tried to just look as just kind as possible, smile and wave to anybody that talked to me. And just like, it didn't matter where I was. That's not saying I didn't have a few hairy situations.
Sure.
But it's just like, people are people. And if you're kind to them, they're going to be kind in turn.
That's amazing. I don't know why this just came up right now, but we just recently, or 2 months ago, like a young black man was shot in Georgia, I believe.
Yes.
Mod, run with
Yeah.
Mod was the hashtag. I forget what Ahmad was his first name. But I always think about, like, you and I are probably pretty privileged to be able to run unabated in a lot of different neighborhoods as two middle-aged white men. But I don't want to put words in your mouth either.
No, you're absolutely right. I went out and did that celebration run for his life. And I mean, I did it at midnight. And believe me, the thought was not lost on me that I'm able to run wherever I want at midnight, right? 1 o'clock in the morning without any problems.
Yeah,
And
so wild.
this man's running in the daytime in his own neighborhood.
Right.
So it's like, believe me, that was definitely not lost on me. And it's like just the fact that I was able to run around San Jose and not have any problems with the cops said a lot.
With anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're lucky, but I want to be a good ally and be like, how do we change this? And I'm not quite sure.
Well, I mean, I think it's just, that's a pretty heavy problem. But I mean, I think all we can do is just work on ourselves and just like kind of like make us those type of people that just are accepting and just want to like include and hopefully that'll work.
Absolutely. And there's something bigger even in the sport, in the sport of running. I'm trying to figure out ways to include all cultures and all ethnicities, because people of color, especially in the African American community, have been like, just running's not for them, or it hasn't felt like, oh, I don't run. And they've got these great groups now. Black Girls Run, BGR, Black Men Run. And I got a really good friend. I don't know if you saw my race director battle like last week with Tess Marshall, and she's like leading the charge in terms of Atlanta's local run community and things like that. So maybe just connecting with groups like that and intersecting it and opening up that world to everybody.
Absolutely. I mean, I would say when you're planning any race, have a 15-minute conversation with those run groups.
Yeah.
And, listen to what their concerns are. Listen to how they might feel more included in all.
Yeah, that's cool. This was not the direction I saw this going. I do not have an agenda at all. How prepared I am at home. Everybody, my friends, family, I'm an unprepared guy. So if something comes in my head, I start talking about it. But I think,
for sure.
And that's on my mind right now. And just thinking, maybe it is outreach. It's like invite them. Like,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Just extending that invitation. And I mean, most people are going to want like just the betterment of society as a whole, right?
Yeah.
So
most people. All right, cool. That was probably as serious as we have to get today.
Sure.
Can you show us your San Jose tattoo? Is that accessible?
I guess it kind of.
You don't have to take your pants off, do you?
No.
Boom. You got shorts on. Little lower. Oh, yep, there it is. Boom. That's for the people at home. We're going to screenshot that. You love San Jose. You might be San Jose's biggest fan.
I think I am, for sure.
I don't know anybody else. I've seen Sharks tattoos. I've seen SJ Sharks, things like that, but I haven't seen just the new brand. Boom. San Jose.
I think about halfway into my run of San Jose, I learned about that logo. And there's actually a lot of symbolism in that logo. I don't know if you've looked into it.
No, I'd love to hear a little bit about it, actually.
But just like the way the whole font of the lettering is supposed to like copy like the old script that was written on the fruit boxes.
Oh, cool. That's rad.
Yeah, the way the San Jose dips down is supposed to symbolize the valley.
That's cool.
The accent is supposed to symbolize like a shark fin. So it's like there's a lot of little things built into that. So halfway through my run of San Jose, I just said to myself, if I finish running every street. If I really finish, I really do it, I'm going to get that tattoo. And that
That's so
tattoo is
cool.
basically just to like, yeah,
You deserve
that's,
it. You know what?
yeah,
You earned it. And you know
I
what?
feel
It's
like
kind of
I did.
cool. Yeah,
I feel like
you
I
earned it.
did for sure. And it's like, yeah, I feel like I earned it.
That's pretty cool.
And it's like the reason just, I don't want to cut you off, but the
No,
reason
I don't.
I got so much love for San Jose, San Jose's got so much love for me.
Yeah,
Like even when I was out there running at night because I didn't want to be seen,
yeah.
there were like bartenders, people working night shifts. They were rooting me on at that time. And
That's
just
cool.
from there, it's just like I feel like San Jose's always had my back, so I'm always gonna have San Jose's back.
That's pretty
Period.
cool. I love San Jose. It is no secret that I grew up there. Just loved growing up in Willow Glen, Lincoln Glen Little League. A lot of my friends, high school there. Went to college, law school at Santa Clara. So left for a little bit, came back. But I've been all around the Bay since then. Um, there is something special about it, and the one thing I really love that I was just talking about is there's something about the weather, and there's this magic hour. There's a magic
Mhm.
hour in San Jose between like, I think it's like 7 and 8 in the late spring, summertime, where like
Absolutely.
the heat of the day like drops and it becomes an extension of your skin somehow. You like become just one within it. And I can remember playing and playing and playing and playing basketball or whatever it was and being like, this is, you could even tell it was special at that age too. That's something I really miss about it, about living in that time. I still run out there and get some time on the
Yeah.
trails, but there's a special, and then there's a ton of things that I love about it. But
Yeah.
there is this just quality of the valley, like temperature change into the evening that is really special. That's probably getting way deep in the deep, deep
Yeah,
in
I
it.
mean that's an absolute fact. That's why I mean
Yeah,
there's so much like outdoor seating over here, and
yeah.
with everything that's going on, there's going to be a lot more outdoor seating
Let's
popping
talk
up.
about it. I love it.
Yeah,
Let's talk about local. So what's going on in your world personally in terms of job? Do you have one? Have you been laid off? I know where were you working before this happened? Can you get a little bit into the professional life and then we'll
yeah,
do local business.
sure. When all this happened, I was a beer tender over at San Pedro Square Market. They have a little beer
Mm-hmm.
market
Sorry.
there. I had helped open that place up a long time ago, and I went back, I think probably like last year. Um, we got, I mean, they shut down San Pedro. We got shut down before everybody else did, basically just
Yeah.
because of capacity issues, right?
Yeah.
The place is so huge. Um, so I was laid off before St. Patrick's Day. I think
Wow.
pretty much most places got shut down like that Monday before St.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick's Day. Um, so just unemployed right now, but just really, I'm just blown away right now by seeing as many new runners out there right now. And I'm just really, I went, got certified as a run coach. I'm certified as a personal trainer. So I'm just
Yes.
really trying to make myself available to as many people right now as possible.
I did not
Basically,
know this.
yeah, basically like focusing on like newcomers because it's like I feel like they can relate to my story, right? Somebody coming into the sport may not be able to relate to the guy that's like trying to break the 5 minute mile, but they
Yep.
can relate to somebody. Like if they see that I did it, maybe it's like more doable
I
in
love
their
it.
head. And I was certified as a run coach for a couple of years now, but I recently got certified as a personal trainer only because looking back at my situation, I turned out I'm healthy,
Yeah.
but I probably should have done some steps prior to beginning the running. So it's just like I'm trying to reach these new people out there just to get them so they can do this safely, and it's going to be a long career for them
I
because it's
think
just
that's
there's so
so
much
cool.
benefit from it.
I didn't know you were a certified road coach or trainer, but I think
Yeah,
there's something powerful when it's coming from someone who's done it, as opposed to like, I don't know, like toot my own horn, but like I was 140 pounds and just
Yeah.
that's just how I was. And that wasn't that's not a challenge to me. I just was,
Right.
and I was able to run fast because, you know, I beat the the lottery or something. My mom was a
Yeah.
great athlete or whatever it was going to be. Yeah, like I'm tough as hell. And that's what took me to another level. But I wouldn't respect me coming from a place that someone who's had a different gene makeup. It just would be like, oh, that I'm supposed to listen to this guy. It sounds like it was too easy for him and or doesn't understand what I'm going through. So I think you're
Right.
the perfect person to like
I feel like I am too.
tell people what you've gone through, all those great things.
And I do feel like I'm the perfect person, one of the perfect people for it too, because I'm 6 years removed from that. I still remember exactly the pain.
It was recent.
Yeah. So
That's so cool.
and
Any plans
fortunately,
of where that's going to go? You personally on the?
I've been like writing up plans for people for a long time, but it's fortunately there's been a lot of like press just about the running of San Jose thing, and
Yeah.
I have a lot of people reaching out to me, which is nice.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's just
interesting.
like I didn't, especially I'm going to do whatever I can for anybody, period.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
cool.
just like if anybody ever needs any advice, hit me up.
No, I love it. All right, we will certainly make all of your contact information like available
Yeah.
when we start putting this out there and let people
Yeah.
know they can reach out if they're looking for training, advice, whatever it's going to be. Personally, I have a whole another idea that I just thought of that maybe we could interact with and collaborate on some Coach Jake run local tips or something like
Yeah.
that. We're trying to create a whole lot of content with that, so I think we can help out there. I'm going to put a pin in it, make a
Right on.
mental note for later. Let's talk about local right now in terms of local business, because you and I were on a Zoom call last week with a run club that we're both affiliated with, Too Legit.
Too legit.
Yep. Shout out to Coach B and the whole crew who does amazing things for the community. Talk about a local, just like cornerstone in fitness
Yeah.
and energy and supporting people and doing it just out of
Absolutely.
love. I honestly, B must just wake up just like heart thumping, like I want to go help somebody every single day. I don't even know. But we're on that Zoom call and we started talking a little bit about local and like what it means to support the businesses right now. I'll put it out there, small events such as our event company that are not allowed to be out there and doing registrations and putting on the events that we love to put on. The bar and San Pedro Square, where you worked before all of this. A big partner of ours, O'Flaherty, shutting down right before the St. Patrick or Shamrock Run, times a million beyond that,
Yeah.
times 1,000.
Yeah.
Are just can't be open right now. All the restaurants and then all the people that work in that industry. And now more than ever local, I guess is what I'm saying. And
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a big believer it should always be local, right? I mean, it's like you're going to spend that money and that money's going to stay in that community, right? I mean, it's just going to just keep
around. Yeah.
But I think a lot of times just people don't even know what's local and what isn't.
Right.
Right. Definitely, like, I think the best comparison could be in the beer world, they have these guys that come in and do the San Jose Bacon Fest, and then the next day it's the Oakland Bacon Fest.
Right.
And it's just
Pasadena.
It's a traveling carnival.
Yeah.
Whereas we have like Meet the Brewers that's like put on by local people.
Yeah.
And when I have that talk with those people where like they're going to these like festivals, these corporate festivals, I mean, they have no clue. They're just like looking at the ad. It's splashy. It looks like fun. So I think I support local no matter what, especially in times like this, because the rock and roll run, the marathon series is going to survive.
Right.
Right.
You're going to be fine.
They're probably hurting, but I mean, they're going to survive.
Right.
A smaller company like yours, I mean, you need our help now more than ever.
Right.
And I think we touched on that Zoom call, but if anybody ever ran one of your races and it meant something to them, and if they do it every year with their family, support you now more than ever.
Right. We got some merch for sale. We got some virtual events. Run anything, pay it forward. Yeah.
You're gonna just like, even if it's just like, okay, for this season, okay, we're gonna take one for the team. Like,
Exactly.
just like,
and we'll bring it back and we'll pay it back 10 times, you know what I mean? 10
yes,
in
yes,
2021.
it's so important. It's
Yeah.
so
And
important.
how do we do that? So that reminds me of two things. I think people need to know, right? Like I don't want to, from now on, I don't want to be shy about saying like, this is this and this is that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're here, we're in the community, and we want you to support us because of that. In the past, I've been like, you know what, I tried to like other larger organizations or just compete sometimes on the merits of it. But I think they should know if it's from here or not. The restaurant, whether it's a chain, a franchise, an event.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's like, I don't know how you like put that knowledge out there,
Yeah.
but
What if we
it's,
made it like certified local? You know how you have certified organic?
yeah,
Like you can only have that sticker on your business page or on your event or something like that if it's within 60 miles or something, you know what I mean?
I'd say that's an amazing idea, but it's
Boom,
just
this is
like,
what they
yeah,
pay me for, bro. Certified
yeah.
local.
Even if like in the verbiage of like on like the about sections on your website, I don't know, just explain you're a local company.
Mm-hmm.
And I think don't, yeah. And I think you've been doing it long enough that a lot of people like recognize
Right.
that, I mean, you're a local dude. And it's like these races are all local races. And it's just like the 408K, for example, I have so many friends that do that, and that's the only race they ever do. They do all year. And it's with their friends and family, and it's just, it's important.
Yeah. It was built for San Jose. It was literally built because I thought San Jose needs something fun and active to do.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing, when you come at it with that motivation, there's nothing more meaningful to a local community. So I was thinking about that. And then what I recently wrote about my passion for spending local was I'm not tone deaf. Like I understand you can get something a little bit cheaper at Amazon. Amazon's a big partner of ours. And I think there's times where you're like, you know what, I can't get that thing, that part for my car down the street. Like use Amazon. Like we still got to function. I get it. We have supply chain.
Yeah.
But I started to think about it like, how can we just change one day a week where maybe 1/7 and make it a lot easier on people to think local. And for me, it's like, we're calling it Run Local Wednesdays. So Run Local Wednesday is like, you try to do everything local that day. If you're going to go out, it's not going to be at a franchise. It's not going to be at a chain restaurant or something like that. If you're going to go to beer, you're going to buy one as local as possible, local wines, whatever you're going to do. And then maybe it's not even something that has to do with money. Like go out for a run in your neighborhood and start to learn your neighborhood, or go for a walk with your family. But I know Meatless Mondays. I've heard of that, and they're just trying to reduce the amount of meat we eat around the world. So
Sure.
Tuesdays are for tacos. I can't fuck with tacos.
That's a done deal.
I feel like I'm gonna go in and get in a battle with tacos.
Wednesday's a perfect day for it.
I think we'd say
Thursday's the new Friday. Friday's Friday.
Friday's Friday. It's Aloha Friday, Shaka Bra in my world. Saturdays are for the boys. Dave Portnoy and the Barstool people already took it, and then we're not going against the NFL or God on Sunday.
Yeah.
Like I don't want any part of that.
Wednesday's perfect.
Boom, Run Local Wednesdays.
Yeah, and it'd be fun. I mean, if you get those spots involved, I mean, believe me, there's plenty of places downtown that, especially like beer spots, because I mean, running and cycling go hand in hand with beers, right? Like that's the reward.
Yeah, I want to change it. I want to get it out there. I want our run, because we already do our Run Local 408 group meets on Wednesdays. I mean, not right now because of social distancing, but it's out on Wednesdays. I could see us like coming out with special things and highlighting like local businesses and a different one every Wednesday. Be like, go hit these people up. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's a great
I'm
idea.
all fired up on this thing. Right?
And I mean, believe me, the local businesses will appreciate it too, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it truly is a win-win-win.
It's pretty cool. I love it. I love it. That was, you were my sounding board. I wanted to test it out on you, and we're gonna this episode's probably gonna come out next Wednesday. So
Okay.
just to laminate it,
Right.
because it's so much kind of some local flavor.
For sure.
But in my mind, we just checked off like everything I wanted to talk about. I'm curious if there's anything else you want the people to know out there about McCloskey, Jake, and what's next.
Just the biggest mission, like for me moving forward, I feel like I don't know why, but I got extremely blessed and lucky. And I am committed to like just getting people moving, but it's just start slow. Like just start with a little tiny thing. And I mean, I literally went from not being able to run a block and to like being interviewed live on Sports Center within 2 years.
That's amazing.
So it's just like, and the biggest thing I can say for new runners is do not worry about speed. Speed will come naturally. Just go out and do your run. I think 2 years at Rock and Roll, I got less than 2 hours, not by much. But I mean, for me, especially in the beginning, it's about finishing. And it's just, if I can tell anybody who's getting into this, like, don't trip off of speed, just trip off finish. And I have a lot of people that come up and just say they hate running. But it's like, well, okay, well, if you hate running, find something you like to do. Do you like to cycle? Like whatever you like ideally don't hate, like do that. But just get out and move, because it is just so important. Our body is designed for it to like get outside, move, lift things. Like, I mean, we need it.
I agree. And that's a huge mission at Soul Focus, top down. For us, movement equals happiness. Like or an increase of happiness. It's going to affect the rest of your life, all your other interactions. I have to move. I've been kind of prickly today because I haven't run yet. I got to go run right after this podcast. I'm going to get out there, but I think you nailed it. Like, start slow, simplify it. It doesn't have to be crazy.
Right. I can tell you, like, I've tried to like lose weight a million times, and I was either just waiting for everything to line up perfectly, which it never does, or I'd start, maybe mess up, and then just give up. So just like, you got to allow yourself to stumble a little bit, but it's just,
everyone's going to mess up. Any support systems you want to shout out? Like, what else helped you to get out there, and anything local?
I would say just basically hyper locally, just the people of Japantown. Just, I mean, have my back from a very early time. And I was very fortunate that like Turkey Trot and Rock and Roll ran right through Japantown. So it's just like early on, I think that my first half was that Rock and Roll.
Yeah, great event.
And my goal was just to like finish without stopping. Well, if you would have saw my times when I was running through Japantown, you think I was going to be like 145. It's just like in front of my people, I was, I got around the corner. It's time to slow it down.
I did that too.
Hyper locally, just people at Japantown, but just like, I don't know, they say, San Jose's show me nothing but love. So it's just, I want to shout out San Jose just as a whole.
Let's leave it right there. I think that was a great way to end it. Thank you so much for being on here, sharing your story, sharing your love for San Jose, sharing your love for local, and then telling everyone kind of your experience and how you got through it. I think anybody can make an impact on their own life and change it today.
And I just want to say one more thing to that note. Like, you make an impact in your life, and it could affect your spouse. It's going to affect your kids. It's just like
it's a spider web. It's like
for every one person that gets into this, they're bringing in people, and it's just been fun to watch in my circle, just to see how many. So it's
and I love that you're still real and that you're still drinking beers. You're having one right now. And
Right? Of course.
shout out to Ghost Brewery up in Oakland. That's an East Bay local.
Yes, absolutely.
And in that like, I feel like that immediately takes some of the intimidation away from it. So you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be some goody two shoes perfect, counting calories, all these different things. You just have to move, balance it all out.
Yeah, it's balanced. That's it.
That's it.
And it's when it's that way, it's sustainable, right?
I love it.
You can drink beer every day, right?
Exactly. All right. So thank you so much. Thanks, Jake. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Everybody subscribe to the podcast somewhere on your Spotify or on your Apple podcast. It's all out there. Check it out on YouTube. Subscribe to the Run Local Events YouTube channel. I do want to thank a couple of partners. We mentioned them. They're allowed to be our partners the other 6 days of the week, Thursday through Tuesday. That's the shout out to Amazon.com. Wednesdays are for the local. And who else we got? Oh, Excite Credit Union. There's nothing more local than that. They take the money.
John Hogan.
Yep, spin it around and send it right back. So shout out to Excite, and thank you, Jake. RunLocalEvents.com for all other information. We got, I'm sorry, almost forgot it. We've got a brand new virtual event that I have to talk about. The guys would kill me if I forgot. We've got the California Coast 500. It is 500 miles from Santa Monica to the Golden Gate Bridge. So it's 500 miles along Highway 1. You don't have to do this in 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You got 3 months to kind of like hammer away at this thing, which we're trying to give people a goal for the summer, a way to log their miles and stuff like that. It's a Run Local virtual event. It benefits No Child Hungry, which is a great charity that's feeding kids all around the world, but they also have some local assets here in the Bay Area, as long as other spots in California. But we're just excited to like do something and get something out there for the local and make a virtual event exciting. So, Jake, are you in or out? I guess that's my question.
Oh, I'm in. And I'm going to say it for you. There's another event that came out this week. That's not the California 500.
Yes.
Know the difference. No, there's one.
That's right.
There's one and there's one real one, and that's the California 500. And I can't wait to get started.
I love it. Thank you, Jake. All right. Everyone else, thanks for tuning in. We are the Run Local Podcast. We'll talk to you next time. Peace.